Tom.
Hello everybody, Tom Fox here giving you some more perspective and opinions from the E3 conference. This time we're going to be tackling Sony's press conference. Wow, that was a really long one, and they also, like long in a good way, because they packed everything they could into there. Like, with Ubisoft's and EA's, they had to put in filler to fill that time. Like, they had people sharing, like, backstories and whatnot. Sony's was none of that. That was just 100%, like, go, 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 go. You know, EA still gets points for Pele, but, you know, Sony, I think, topped them a little bit. Starting off, we finally got some information about The Last Guardian here, and it's due out next year. Like, everyone thought it was canceled. Like, they never confirmed it was canceled, but they announced it so long ago, and everyone was like, oh, probably canceled then. So, from what I've seen from the trailers, it's like an action-adventure. You get, like, a giant animal companion as well, and you make progress through the game as you kind of, like, command the animal and, like, help the animal out. I'm gonna call it Bird Dog, because that's really all I know it by. Very vibrant color, like, kind of almost a little bit of a cel-shaded look on the kid. Very stylized graphics. Love the look of it. Can't wait to see more of it. Then we saw Horizon Zero Dawn. That looks so, like, you know, I've kind of had this thing going that I'm thinking about, where it's like you have a like a post-apocalyptic world where it's so far past the apocalypse that people have started to rebuild, and that's exactly what this game is. It seems like that's more based on tribes. They kind of see the like the future tech of, like, the previous lifestyle as more or less, like, not really deities, but kind of like as, like, a, I don't know, like a storytelling thing. It seems like the machines that are roaming around have taken on, like, these animal forms. I don't know if it's like they evolved, they were originally built to be animals and they just kind of evolved from there, or if they kind of, like, merged with animals, or if, like, in the cities, you know, they just built these robots. I don't really know. I'm not going to go into it because it's kind of dumb. It seems like that there's a lot of, like, primitive weapons made from, like, futuristic parts. So you had, like, the bow there that had different arrows based on things that would help in certain situations against various creatures. It almost seems like I mean, I don't know how expansive the animal machine roster is going to be, but it almost seems like Monster Hunter-esque. Maybe not as, like, on a grand scale, because the monsters take forever to take down a Monster Hunter, and it's always, like, a big epic battle. Not nearly as drawn out in this one, where like, you know, you kind of weaken it and then take it down with the rope gun, with the rope trap there, and then, you know, shoot it out. That one looks like, you know, pretty amazing. Like, I'd love to keep up with that, see where that's going there. They showed off a new Hitman. Looks like it takes place later in the series. I mean, not much was shown. More or less it was a teaser. It seems like the Sony's also getting the exclusive beta and exclusive contracts that the Microsoft people and PC people are going to be able to get. I mean, like, that's the thing with Sony, though. They seem to be paying a lot for exclusivity, or even just, like, the ability to advertise it. Like, take Destiny, for example. Even, like, later on, we talk about the Destiny sequel later on, and that wasn't even mentioned in Microsoft's conference at all. Let's see. After that, they showed off Street Fighter V. You know, what is it? It's PS4 and PC exclusive. That much we already know. They showed off a new character, and they showed, let's see, that there's going to be a beta July 23rd. I imagine that's going to be good for Street Fighter fans, so if you like that game, keep an eye on that. I mean, we just had Ryu and Smash Bros, so hopefully some people will check it out there. No Man's Sky. Oh my god, that game looks massive. Like, he said any one of those stars, and, like, he pulled out to the point where you could see the center of the galaxy sort of there, and your goal is to get to there. I wonder if it's randomly generated where you start out, like if you're really far back or if you're really close. But let's see. It seems like you could also, like, scan planets for, like, life, allies, enemies, various things that are on there, like, you know, things like architecture, things like that. It seems like you can also get into galactic, you know, space combat there and take a certain faction's side. The map is on a gigantic scale here. Like, oh my god, like, nobody will be able to explore all that. Still a little bit, like, bummed out that there's no multiplayer, because that'd be an amazing multiplayer game. Still huge, like, huge and exploratory. Biggest issue, though, is, like, you know, how much can you do by yourself? You know, I mean, like in the games industry nowadays, like multiplayer almost makes the games that like, makes you want to play the games. And if No Man's Sky is only single player, then you know what are you gonna do? Loading seems seamless, practically seamless between space and planets. Destructible environments are there, so it seems like you're blowing stuff up in order to gain materials. I guess you can also probably just blow stuff up for the hell of it. Sentinels, we don't really know much about them yet, but it seems like they guard uninhabited planets for people trying to explore them, which leads us into the like ground combat. Like he had like a pistol and other things he could use. Kind of wondering like how much more you can expand off of that. Like maybe you can craft weapons or like upgrade your ship or things like that. Because if it's just the exploration, like that's how far can that take you? Looking forward to seeing more of that, definitely. Leading into media molecules, game, I guess, because it's like you can make stuff in it. Like it's called the game is called Dreams. It's basically like this big creative tool. I'm not entirely sure like how to like explain it as as it is. But you can just like paint things and they come out in like 3D, and you can make people, take assets from things other people have made and just make these huge, just make like these short videos or even games. They said in there you can create games. It seems like it's almost endlessly open-ended. Like sky's the limit on that one. You can do whatever you want in it, and it just looks, I mean, as far as games go, I don't know how it's gonna do for that, because what was it? They may like as far as a creative tool goes, like I'm sorry for like games, it's just I'm a little bit jumbled over my words here, but as far as like making art, it looks like it's just endless possibilities on that. Like it looks amazing. Let's see. The next game they showed off was Firewatch. That looked pretty neat. It looked like kind of like you're in like a forest mountain area. You're maybe, I don't know, like a park ranger. It kind of looked like. But the neat thing about it was it kind of had like an air of mystery to it, and there was like, I like the snarky dialogue between the woman in the tower and you, who are probably supposed to be in your tower, but you explore a lot. Yeah, the environment looks nice. I like the dialogue, like the aspect of a first person, more or less exploration game in the middle of the wilderness seems like a lot of fun. Like in a more, it's a little bit stylized, like a little bit more of a cartoony sense to it, but like more real than say like Minecraft. So yeah, I'd love to see more of that. They showed off a little bit more. They showed off Destiny: The Taken King, which is going to expand on the story. Hopefully, they'll actually have more of a story in it than the original Destiny did, because that was one of the major flaws with it. Let's see. They added like new supers. There's a new story that's going to be based off of. I guess it's based off of either who you beat in the main game or who you beat in one of the DLCs. Let's see, and it looks like the settings expand to a space station that's sort of more or less outside of Saturn. I saw something that looked kind of fiery as well, so maybe that's Mercury. Maybe you go as far as to go to Mercury at that point. I thought it was DLC at first, but apparently it's an entirely new game. So I guess we can now expect Destiny to be an annual release at this point. After that, they showed off a little bit of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Like I said, Jacob is a more likable character in the Assassin's Creed series, so it seems like it's going in a good direction there. They introduced Evie, who seems like a more serious, more brutal, and more stealth-based character, and is the twin sister of the main character, Jacob. I'm kind of wondering where it's going to go with that, because there also seems to be some sort of like, what do they call it? It's kind of like a detective sort of thing, sort of. I'm going to make the obvious Sherlock Holmes comparison here, but yeah, like a Sherlock Holmes-esque game to it that's going to be exclusive to PS4. But it's turning out, I guess, with a more serious character that kind of worries me a little bit, because, like I said, more serious characters generally meant, like, the game's not as good. That's just a trend I've noticed. I'm not saying that because it's a serious character in an Assassin's Creed game is going to be bad. But anyway, in a main series Assassin's Creed game, I should say, because I don't really count Rogue and Freedom, was it? The PS Vita one? I don't remember. But yeah, let's see. From there, we got the world of Final Fantasy. It looks very, very adorable, and it seems like it's based around, training monsters to fight for you. Or, I guess in that case, you could also fight for yourself. But we saw, like, little glimpses of creatures and also characters from other Final Fantasy games. Like we saw a little chibi Cloud there. Gonna have to look more into that because that looks like a very cute game. I can get behind that. Speaking of Cloud though, the Final Fantasy VII Remastered, kind of out of left field considering they initially said that they were only gonna just re-release it for PS4 and not remaster it. But that's another thing too. Like game companies are finally learning to like listen to their fans. It's like, you know, oh, we're gonna re-release this game. It's like, oh, we don't want to re-release. We want to remaster. You've been re-releasing it for a while now. You re-released it on Steam. Let's get it on. Let's get it on new consoles. And from this, we can see there's a major visual update, at least from the trailer that was shown. It's not PS4 exclusive, but it is going to be first on there. So if you wanted to get it on like Xbox One or PC, then that's still an option, just not immediately. I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be any gameplay differences to it. Maybe like if there's any, you know, glitches from the original Final Fantasy VII that need to be patched. I wonder how much they're going to overhaul it to make it more accessible to maybe people who aren't used to the ATB system. Maybe like give a small like optional tutorial at the beginning just so you can kind of get the gist of it for people who don't understand it, like me. Let's see. After that, they showed off a bunch of indie games. We got Ronin, which is like, it seems like you're like a techno samurai action platformer based thing. EITR or ITER, I think it's how you pronounce it, where it's like a hack and slash adventure game. I think that one was also more or less like a 2D. Oh no, wait, that one was more like a isometric perspective sort of thing. Well, the Russia Bleeds looks like a Streets of Rage style beat 'em up. Well, that looks pretty fun. And Crossing Souls. Let's see. Yeah, Crossing Souls was Jesus. Let's see. Yeah, Crossing Souls was another beat 'em up game that looked like it had you know, the last three had stylized 8-bit graphics, but Crossing Souls looked like it had a neat, like little cartoony cutscenes to it. Let's see. Some of my notes are out of order at this point. I don't know if they showed PlayStation View at this point. It seems like a TV service. Seems like a good idea for people who don't really want to, you know, buy a whole cable package. If they're only going to watch like a few, especially if they're only going to watch a few channels. But, you know, it's like a good idea. Like say you only want internet. And it's like, well, there's also these things that I kind of want to watch as they come out on TV. How am I going to get access to those? And then you got, you know, PlayStation View there where it's like, oh, we'll be able to have you access channels. I found it kind of funny where it's like they're talking about this thing and they announce the 3 channels they got, like the Fox Soccer and Showtime. And then they come out with the Machinima thing and then like the applause is very sparse at that point. I just found that kind of funny. But then after that, they showed off Shenmue 3, which they saw the game trailers, dude, reaction to that, and man alive. I didn't realize that was such a wanted game. I never grew up with the systems that played a lot of those games. Like, I had some of them, but like I was mainly Nintendo at that point. Nintendo was the only thing that interested me when I was growing up, so I never played games like Shenmue. I really should. I really should play games like Shenmue. I've actually already donated my cause to Shenmue 3 here, like as I was watching the PS4 E3 conference there, because it's like, it seems like it's going to be big, and hopefully before it comes out, I'll be able to get a chance to play Shenmue's 1 and 2. A lot of people seem excited for it, and you know, if Shenmue is the masterpiece that people are saying that it is, then I'm hoping to have a great time playing the first 2. They showed off a bit of Batman Arkham Knight. They teased Batman's death, but ultimately I think the whole trailer was kind of an allusion to the PS4 exclusive Scarecrow Nightmare missions. Which seems like they're going to be fun, but that game comes out in a week, so it seems like they're a little late to the party kind of explaining that thing. Like, I expect anything to be shown at E3 to be like months or a year away at that. Talking about a little bit of Project Morpheus. Talking about consoles not being really developed for screens anymore, but being developed for the entire like focal range, like including peripheral vision. And they also tease a little bit of multiplayer stuff in there, which I think means that it's like one person's using Project Morpheus. Oh no, wait, I think they were talking about one person using Project Morpheus and the rest of the people playing on the TV screen. So you might see some asymmetric multiplayer that way, where it's like the person with the headset can kind of like oversee everything that's going on, and the 4 players are kind of like, or the 4 or 3 other, I think probably 3 other players are kind of like in this world doing whatever as like the person with Project Morpheus sees fit. Speaking of that, they also kind of developed like kind of an esports arena mech shooter called Riggs specifically for Project Morpheus. That seems like it's going to be kind of fun, although we've seen some like mech games come and go. So if, is it just me or do I just focus entirely on trends in this? I don't know. But like we've seen mech games come and go, so they're probably going to have to do a pretty good job in order to pull that franchise out of the gutter a little bit. Let's see. They showed off Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It seems like the Call of Duty series is kind of shifting from the Xbox over to the PS4. Not entirely sure why, because like I work at GameStop and I see a lot more people coming here buying Call of Duty for the Xbox systems instead of the PS4. However, I think part of it might be that a lot of the Call of Duty fan base jumped ship from Xbox to PS4 because of the initial announcement where it was like all this DRM and whatnot, and like Sony basically killed them in the water that year at E3. They're kind of killing them in the water now. I'm not gonna lie, Microsoft had a good one, but like Sony showed a lot of good stuff. They showed off Disney Infinity. They showed off like the Star Wars characters and whatnot. As an amiibo collector, I don't really care about Disney Infinity. I got my amiibos going for me, but it seems cool. It seems like their main focus here was to kind of like lure parents in to buy the game and the figures for their kids, so they can kind of get them into Star Wars. So it's like, kind of passing on that legacy of being a nerd. And it also seems like that there's going to be an exclusive starter pack for PS4 where you get the two story packs where it's like the Clone Wars one and the original trilogy one. And that also includes an exclusive Boba Fett. So like basically it's getting it early before any other systems get it. They also talked about a bit about Star Wars Battlefront, where there's like a sort of like a horde survival mode. It's like solo and co-op. It's against AI, and it seems like the whole point is to kind of like stall it or like complete objectives in order to be able to make your escape. So we'll look into more of that. Uncharted 4. They showed off a bit of a gameplay trailer here. Again, the list of games that I've never played continues to grow exponentially, but I've never played any of the Uncharted games. Seen a lot done with it. I know that's the common joke that Nathan Drake looks like Lyle McDouchebag, but yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Like the driving portion looked like a lot of fun. The the bit where you're kind of roaming around that market, that's cover-based shooting, but still, it looked enjoyable for what it was, especially considering the accuracy of that grenade toss that AI enemy had. Kind of more or less keeps you on your toes than just the standard hide behind cover and wait for them to poke their head out and shoot them. So, yeah, I'm getting fairly hoarse from talking about all these, but overall, Sony killed it. Like let's see, the games I'm looking forward to most on here. Last Guardian, that looks like it's gonna be really good. Horizon Zero Dawn, I want to keep a close eye on because I kind of like that concept of the whole so far past the apocalypse that society has rebuilt itself to the point where they don't even remember the apocalypse. No Man's Sky, definitely No Man's Sky. I absolutely love space exploration games. Dreams, I want to keep an eye on. I mean, I'm creatively impaired in like as far as like the drawing arts aspect of it, but it looks like it's going to be like a phenomenal experience. Firewatch looks like a lot of fun. Keeping a small eye on Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The Final Fantasy VII Remastered looks good. Shenmue 3, like I said, I'm probably gonna play the original Shenmue games, probably on my own, just because I kind of want to, I don't want to say rush, but I kind of want to get through the story as quickly as possible, just so I kind of, absorb it. Let's see. Black Ops 3, actually, surprisingly, I'm a little bit excited for. Oh, I didn't really talk about Black Ops 3 that much, did I? I kind of glanced over that. But yeah, there's like the PS4. Oh, I just kind of talked about how it's kind of coming to the Xbox system. One thing I noticed about it, too, is that like there's first off, co-op campaign and the ability to choose your abilities and equipment before missions. But it also seems like that they're kind of delving into the point where it's like your technology is more or less like, magic powers. Because they had that one ability where it's like, bam, you're throwing up. Bam, there's like fireflies, flying around you here. Yeah, sorry that this is kind of jumbled. I kind of like was talking about Black Ops 3's, exclusivity versus like the jump from Microsoft to Sony. But anyway, so yeah, all those Sony had a lot of good stuff this year. And I can't wait to see more of the stuff that they're going to come out with. So let's see. Tomorrow we got the, or I guess not really tomorrow, but next we got the Nintendo conference that's coming up. And you bet your sweet bippy that I'll be giving my opinions and analysis on that. Because, as you all know, I play all manner of video games, but I am a Nintendo diehard at heart. So, until then, I will see you guys next time.